I need to remind everyone, we are not mid-series. Sorry, we are not in a fresh series. We are mid-series, and here we go, spawning in the bottom right-hand corner of Romanticide LE. We have the Peruvian Zerg player. He is red, I believe, as I double check. He is, I think, last week's champion. I'm not 100% sure for Copa Hyperion, but of course, he is the Street Fighter. It is Ryu. And spawning in the top left-hand corner of Romanticide LE. Currently up 1-0 in this best of 3 round of 32 match. It is Pacomike. We're in game 2. Pacomike is up 1-0, mate. He is so close. And we are on Romanticide. This is the problem with Ryu. So I just double checked. Ryu did win last week. He won Copa Hyperion number 17. But Ryu avoided. No, never mind. Ryu went all the way to the ace match against Pacomike, and Ryu was able to win 2-1. Fun fact. This was the week where Pacomike was playing with his Tempests. And Ryu shut the Tempest down. I casted alongside Darking. It was the semifinals. So this is a bit of a rematch. I'm curious and I'm wondering, is Pacomike going to go for Tempest again? Is that going to happen? Because if he is, like, shaking my head, mate. I'm shaking my head. Don't do it, Paco. Don't do it. To be fair, Paco, he has the freedom right now. He's already up 1-0. So if he wanted to, he could mess around and he could go for Tempest. But it'll be to his detriment. Don't risk it, papi. Don't do it. Oh, God. So we'll see how this series turns out. Oh my God. A bit of a grudge match, if you will. As we do have a Stargate first coming out from Pacomike. I didn't get to talk much about it, but yes, we are, of course, on Romanticide, a very Protoss favorite map, especially in regards to Skytoss. That is not my excuse for Pacomike to go into Tempest play. I'm just saying that if he wanted to go double Stargate Void Ray into carriers, this would be the map to do it on. But we'll see. We'll see. We have the first step is placed where we do have a Stargate here. Meanwhile, Ryu taking a more aggressive third base as his third. Very interesting here. We'll see if he does go for some kind of timing. Of course, we do have Pneumacized Carapace on the way, so Ryu will be going for an Overlord Scout to make sure he knows what his opponent's doing. Pacomike is opening up with a Void Ray to deny that Scout and to keep his tech hidden. So we will see what Pacomike throws down after this Void Ray. Oh boy. Aye. Alright, here we go. Right now, Pacomike, he's just testing the waters, you know, with his Adept. Does shade away. Nicely done there by Pacomike. He just confirms the third base, really. He knows where it is. He sees the Lings. And the Void Ray is out. The Overlord does manage to dip in and so far has escaped the Void Ray. Some solid maneuvering there by Ryu, able to get away with that. Oh no! Oh no! Exclamation mark Funada Pacomike in the chat. A fleet beacon is on the way. Alright, we need some bets in the chat. 1, Tempest. 2, Carrier. Is he going for Tempest again or is he going for Carrier? Don't do it, Pacomike. It does, like, the problem with this, it does well if it goes unscouted. The problem is that Ryu had a lot of practice with this. Last week in Copa Hyperion, Ryu played against this in the semis against Pacomike, and if you remember, in the finals, Jim Rising as a Protoss also did this, and Ryu also shut that down. And I mean, 2-minute delay, but if you typed 2 instead of 1, for carriers, you are correct. Thank God, Pacomike is not going for Tempest. Oh, thank God. Jesus Cristo, Santa Maria. Pacomike, he's learning. Oh, but Ryu. Ryu dove in with the Overlord and he saw the silhouette of the carrier being built. If he was looking, and he should be a good enough player to have been looking, Ryu should be aware that carriers are on the way. It would be a big brain play if Pacomike canceled the carrier and actually went for Tempest. Oh god, alright. So Ryu, he knows what Pacomike's doing. Pacomike, this is something that Pacomike did a lot last year, even before the Void Ray buff. And it's very risky to do, as you can imagine. As you can imagine, because he has no Void Rays. Typically, when a player goes for carriers, they go Void Ray first. They get like maybe 4, maybe 6 Void Rays, and then they switch into carriers. So they have those initial Void Rays to have map control, to harass, and also to defend your bases. Because Pacomike is skipping the Void Rays and going straight into carriers, this is very risky. It's very vulnerable. But if the game goes on longer, then Pacomike will have a mass carrier count very quickly. Oh boy, but the carriers have been revealed, and Aspire is on the way. Ryu, he just needs to push this away, get into Corruptors, and he can shut this down. Again, the big weakness of this is that there are no Void Rays. Like, so Corruptors can chase this down. Like, this is scary. This is very scary here for Pacomike. He's being very aggressive with his first couple of carriers, and so far he's doing well, but he has to, like, if he commits too deep into creep, then he will be shut down, and already one of the Void Rays almost gets sniped. Oh, these carriers have to be so careful here. They are trying to deny creep as best they can. Oh boy, and so far, so good for Pacomike. He's taking a 4th base behind this. More carriers are on the way. Plus 1 air attack is on the way as well. I see the chat's reacting. Fernando is upset. Boo, no Tempest. He's changing, he's learning right now. So far, these carriers, they have like slowly maneuvered their way across the map. But this is what's scary. 7 Corruptors are on the way. And right now, these queens are doing well to hold the line. They just have to hold on long enough for the Corruptors to come out. Right now, the carriers are pushing on forward. Now there are 4 carriers here across the map. He's trying to focus on the sport, but the transfuses are on point. But you know what? The transfuses, they have run out. So no more transfuses for Ryu. And now the queens are starting to fall, but the Corruptors have come out. And now is the time to leave. Here come the rest of the Corruptors. They're trying to focus on the carriers. And it looks like 1 carrier will fall. Will it? It does just barely fall. Now the queens are getting on some of the other carriers. Mate, you gotta get out of here. And so far, it looks like Pacomike is just barely able to escape, but he will lose another carrier. And this is the danger of rushing to carriers this quickly. You have no support. And if your opponent goes into Corruptors like this, which Ryu did, because again, he's familiar with this style, losing 2 carriers, and what did he get? He got a queen for 2 carriers and 4 Corruptors. Like, that is not worth it. And now Ryu, he's like, the danger is Ryu is going to start to snowball. Like, he's got a decent amount of Corruptors. If he wanted to, he could chase down these carriers and focus them down. My god, we do see he is using his Caustic Spray on the 3rd base. Pacomike is forced to respond, but you know what? The Nexus will fall. Ooh, big damage here by Ryu. Big damage taken by Pacomike. Ryu, he confirms the commitment to carriers. We do see more Corruptors are on the way. Finally, Pacomike is going for... Time to cancel the carrier. Fernando, please. But now Pacomike is going for Flux Veins. So this is a pretty big upgrade. Unfortunately, it is a little bit late. He is switching into Void Rays. Oh my god, the contamination on the Stargate. Nicely done there by Ryu. Ryu confirms that there are Void Rays on the way, and Pacomike needs Void Rays. You need Void Rays to protect your carriers, but it's also kind of late. There is still a timing, especially because the Void Ray production has been delayed, where Ryu can attack and there is enough to protect the carriers. There is a window here. We will see if Ryu hits it. Oh boy, oh boy. We also have a couple of Archons on the ground to help protect the carriers. Archons are pretty big, right? Like, they are ideal to defend against Corruptors as long as they're in position. Oh god, these Corruptors, they want the carrier. They want it so bad, but they see the Archons. They do back off. At the same time, we do have this Zealot run by here to the southern half of the map. This hatchery should go down. Oh god, the Roaches, they have to waddle so far to respond against these Zealots, and they will deal with them. Oh, and it looks like the Zealots, they will not get a base. Meanwhile, the carriers are hitting towards the north side of the map. There isn't much here to defend, but there are plenty of Corruptors. They're trying to get on top of the carriers. Oh, the Archons are getting a lot of shots off, and the Corruptors are going down. Ryu was too ambitious, mate. 2-3 Archons are all you need. You cannot dive in like that, and we saw Ryu lose every single Corruptor. Finally, the Archons are going to fall, only one remaining, but you know what? It's too late. The Corruptors are already gone. This is something that Ryu had to do first. He had to deal with the ground army first, and then go in with the Corruptors. Already a lot of losses here. It looks like this hatchery will fall. The Queens, they need to get out of here. Like, Ryu has to wait for his Corruptors. At the same time, GG gets called. I was about to say Zealots are hitting the southern base of Ryu, and Pacomike 2-0s his Zerg opponent. Wow. GG, well played. I love it. Pacomike, not off of Tempest, but instead off of carriers. He does take down one of the best Zerg players in the region. He does take down Ryu 2-0 without dropping a single map.